In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatma Munir. I am from BS Biotechnology. So today my topic name is Hydromorphone and Oxymorphone. First of all, I am going to talking about introduction. Basically, hydromorphone and oxymorphone are semi-synthetic derivatives of morphine and potent opiates agonists which are used predominantly to treat moderate to severe pain. Neither hydromorphone nor oxymorphone have been linked to serum enzyme elevations during therapy or to clinically apparent liver injury. Hydromorphone, a drug used to treat moderate to severe pain. It may also used to treat certain type of cough. Hydromorphone hydrochloride is made from morphine and binds to opioids receptor in the central nervous system. It is a type of opioids and analgesics agents. Oxymorphone. Oxymorphone is a potent Schedule II opioids analgesics drug with an abuse liability similarly to morphine and other Schedule II opioids. Recently, there has been an increase in the abuse of oxymorphone. History of hydromorphone. Hydromorphone was patented in 1923. It was introduced to the mass market in 1926 under the brand name Dilaudid, indicating its derivations and degree of similarity to morphine. History of oxymorphone. Oxymorphone was first developed in Germany in 1914 and patented in the US by Endo Pharmaceuticals in 1955. It was introduced in the United States in January 1959 and other countries around the same time. Medical uses of hydromorphone and oxymorphone. Hydromorphone is used to treat moderate to severe pain. It may be used by mouth or by injection into vein, muscles, or under the skin. Effects generally begin within half an hour and last for up to 5 hours. Typically, long-term use is only recommended for pain due to cancer. A 2016 coherence review found little difference in benefit between hydromorphone and other opioids for cancer pain. Oxymorphone is used to relieve moderate to severe pain in people whose pain is not controlled with other medications. Oxymorphone is in class of medication called opiate. Analgesics, it works by changing the way the body responds to pain. Chemical properties of hydromorphone. Hydromorphone is an opioid agonist that binds to several opioid receptors. Its analgesic characteristics are through its effect on the mu-opioid receptors. It also acts centrally at the levels medulla, depressing the respiratory drive and suppressing cough. Hydromorphone 4 to 5 epoxy 3 hydroxy and 17 methyl morphine and 6,1 is a semi-synthetic opioid agonist derived from morphine. It will be positively identified as an opiate in the field test kits. Chemical properties of oxymorphone. Chemical oxymorphone is 4 to 5 alpha epoxy 314 dihydroxy 17 methyl morphine and 6,1 commonly used as its hydrochloride salts, a white or a slightly white odorless powder which is frankly soluble in alcohol and either but freely soluble in water. Mechanism of action. Hydromorphone is an opioid agonist that binds to several opioid receptors. Its analgesic characteristics are through its effect on the mu-opioid receptors. It also affects centrally at the level medulla, depressing the respiratory drive and suppressing cough. Mechanism of action. Oxymorphone interacts predominantly with the opioid mu receptors. These binding sites are discretely distributed in the human brain with high densities in the posterior amygdala, hypothalamus, thalamus, nucleus, carotids, putamen, and certain cortical areas. They are also found on the terminal axons of primary afferent within laminae 1 and 2 of the spinal cord and in the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. Also, it has been shown that oxymorphone bind to and inhibits GABA inhibitory interneurons via mu receptor. These interneurons normally inhibit the descendant pain inhibition pathway. So, without the inhibitory signals, pain modulation can proceed downstream. downstream. Mechanism of action: MOM are primarily responsible for analgesia and side effects of opioids and are associated with the analgesia and side effects. The opioids drug produce analgesia action at several levels of the nervous system, in particular inhibition of neurotransmitter release from the primary afferent terminals in the spinal cord and activations of descending inhibitory controls in the midbrain. Opioids work by activating opioids receptor on nerve cells. These receptors belong to a family of proteins known as the protein coupled receptors. Scientists have always assumed that all opioids, whether produced by the body or taken as a drug, interact in the same way with opioids receptor. Pharmacokinetics: hydromorphone metabolized. Hydromorphone is extensively metabolized via gluconeogation in the liver, with greater than 95% of the dose metabolized to hydromorphone 3 glucuronide, along with a minor amount of 6 hydroxy reduction metabolized. Only a small amount of the hydromorphone dose is excreted unchanged in the urine. Absorbed: when administered orally, hydromorphone is absorbed mainly in the upper small intestine with a bioavailability of 60% due to intensive post-pass metabolism. In the controlled release variant of hydromorphone, in the absorption follow a biphasic pharmacokinetic profile. Distributed. At the therapeutic plasma level, hydromorphone is approximately 8 to 19% bound to plasma protein. After a intravenous bolus, the steady state of volume of disruption mean is 302.93 32% liters excreted. Only a small amount of the hydromorphone dust is excreted unchanged in the urine. Most of dust is excreted as hydromorphone 3 glucuronide, along with minor amount of 6 hydroxy reduction metabolitize. The systematic clearance is approximately 1.9620% liters minute. The terminal elimination half life of hydromorphone of is about 2.3 hours. Oxymorphone metabolized. Oxymorphone is metabolized in the liver to a neurooxymorphone and excreted via the kidney primarily as the glucuronide conjugates. Oxymorphone is also a metabolite of oxycodone, and therefore the presence of oxymorphone could also indicate exposure to oxycodone excreted. Oxymorphone undergoes extensive hepatic metabolism in humans. After a 10 mg oral test, 49% was excreted over a 5-day period in the urine. Basically, of this, 82% was excreted in the first 24 hours after administration. Absorption. Basically, absorption, the absolute oral bioavailability of oxymorphone is approximately 10% steady state level or achieved after 3 days of multiple dose administration. And distribution, the volume of distribution of oxymorphone is 31 kg with protein binding of about 10%. Routes of administration of hydromorphone. Basically, hydromorphone administration can be through intramuscular, intravenous, subcutaneous, or oral routes injected at a concentration up to 10 mg/ml. Immediate release oral formulation have an onest of the action at 15 to 30 minutes, peak at 30 to 60 minutes, and last 3 to 4 hours. Routes of administration of oxymorphone is available in the United States in injectable and rectal forms. The adult subcutaneous or intramuscular dose is 1 to 1.5 mg every 4 to 6 hours, with the starting intravenous dose being zero point 0.5 mg. Rectal administration is approximately one-tenth as potent as intramuscular administration. Clinical uses: hydromorphone. Basically, hydromorphone is a medication used in the management and treatment of moderate to severe acute pain as well as severe chronic pain. It is in the opioid class of medication. Oxymorphone clinical uses: oxymorphone is basically used to relieve moderate to severe pain in people whose pain is not controlled with other medication. Oxymorphone is in a class of medication called opiate, a narcotic analgesics. It works by changing in the way the body. Hydromorphone side effects: headache, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, dry mouth, lightheadedness, drowsiness, heavy sweating, muscle, back or joint pain, stomach pain. Oxymorphone side effect: dry mouth, gas, flushing, fast heartbeat, stomach pain or swelling, nausea, vomiting, fast heartbeat, tolerance and dependence. Opioids tolerance is thought to develop from the desensitization, internalization, downregulation of opioid receptors. This phenomena should not be confused with opioids addiction, in which a physical dependence results from receptors counter adaptation in conjunction. Current research: Hydromorphone was cancer pain first published in issue 10 2016. For people with advanced cancer, the prevalence of pain is distressing symptoms that tend to worsen as the disease progresses. Evidence suggested that opioid pharmacotherapy is the most effective of these therapies. Hydromorphone appears to an alternative opioids analgesics which may help relieve these symptoms. The purpose of this study was to investigate the pharmacokinetic properties of a novel, one daily controlled release formulation of hydromorphone in the presence of alcohol. Research design and method: in a single center open label 4 treatment 4 period 4 sequence crossover study, two groups of 24 healthy subjects were randomized to receive 4 single doses of OROS hydromorphone 16 mg with solutions of either 0%, 4%, 20%, and with a naltrexone block. Oxymorphone, I review Eric Prommer, Sportive Care in Cancer 14 109 to 115 2006. Oxymorphone hydrochloride 14 hydroxy dehydromorphinone as a semi-synthetic opioid agonist was first approved by the US Food and Drug Administration in 1959. Basically, oxymorphone is considered a more potent opioid than its parent compound morphine. Recently, an immediate release and long acting oral formulation of this drug was developed that makes oxymorphone a new option in treating moderate to severe pain. This article reviews the pharmacodynamics, pharmacology, and clinical efficacy for this new option in treating moderate to severe pain. Opioid summary: opioid are class of drugs used to reduce pain. Prescription opioids be prescribed by doctors to treat moderate to severe pain, but can also have serious risk and side effects. Common type are oxycodone, hydrocodone, morphine, and methadone. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid pain reliever. Conclusion of analgesics. Conclusion: paracetamol and the topical analgesics provide effective and generally safe options for mild to moderate pain. Thank you.